Today we're taking a look at the ZOTAC RTX 3060 Twin Edge OC. Now this is a pretty unremarkable card in the fact that it's just kind of a basic dual fan 3060. It doesn't have the highest or lowest power limit. It doesn't have RGB or any real crazy features, but it's remarkable in the fact that it's been popping into stock randomly on Amazon. If you're lucky enough to be browsing when one of these pops into stock, should you pull the trigger on it? Well, let's take a look and see what it can do. Looking at some benchmarks, it gets a pretty middling score for a 3060, which is really what you'd expect. It's not the best and it's not the worst. The 3060 is not one of the most power-hungry Ampere cards, but this particular card that I have in my possession is not very loud, so that's good, and it doesn't seem to run very hot. By setting a manual point on the voltage curve, I was able to set it at 950 millivolts, right over 2000 megahertz, and it seems to run pretty well at that. I also threw an extra 500 megahertz on the memory. And after those overclock tweaks, it bumped the time spy score up over 10,000, and still we're right in the middle of the pack for the 3060, but a little bit better. All in all, for a kind of middle-of-the-road model of the 3060, I think this ZOTAC Twin Edge OC does a pretty decent job. It doesn't have a big 3-fan cooler, it doesn't have RGB all over the place, but it delivers some pretty solid performance, and it runs fairly cool and quiet without having any weird issues or crashes, at least for me so far. The design is somewhat Spartan and straightforward, but it's going to look okay in a lot of different systems, and if you don't have a whole lot of room to work with, this is still going to probably fit in your rig. So, while it's still pretty hard to get, this is probably more accessible than some 3060s, and if you're looking for a 3060 and you have a chance to get this at a decent price, I'd say go ahead and grab it. Well, I hope this was helpful and or entertaining. If you liked it, give it a like down below, subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you in the next video.